really bad. I had a couple of the comics on that story, but there also was like I remember he was the boss of the first Marvel vs. Capcom game. It was Onslaught. But yeah, they anyways, Apocalypse is like I think the only X-Men that can stand a chance against him is Jean Grey when she has the Phoenix powers. But yeah, I don't know how they're gonna do that here or that villain in a um, movie setting.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. See, they're saying that third one, I guess, because like First Class was in the '60s, and then Days of Future Past was in the '70s. So Apocalypse will be set in the '80s.
Yeah,
So
they're
hopefully,
recasting Storm, Cyclops, and Jean Grey.
oh yeah, they already have. They got those actors.
Yeah, yeah, but they're not getting the old. I mean, it makes sense that they're not getting the old
Getting
ones.
the old actors, yeah, yeah. Even though, man, that ending of Days of Future Past, that was so cool to see everybody like back.
That was such a fuck you to First Class. That was or to X-Men
Last
3.
Stand.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Last Stand. Oh god, Last Stand was so bad. I
I
just Brett Ratner. Why?
I think the only one oh geez, I fucked up. I think the only one worse than first or than Days of Future. What am I saying? The only one worse than Last Stand
Last Stand.
was the first Wolverine movie. That was so bad. Did you ever see that?
Yeah.
Oh god, that one.
I never saw that. I've heard the stories though.
It's so fucking bad.
They're writing that wrong too with the Deadpool film, or at least they're giving it an honest try. Seems like
Wasn't that put together? Like, are they actually doing that now?
they're actually like they're filming it right now.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Hopefully, yeah, well, yeah. Deadpool was because like the famous thing with Deadpool was that in one of the Deadpool comics he says he looks like who's the actor that's playing him?
Ryan Reynolds.
He says he looks like Ryan Reynolds but all burnt up. So then they actually got Ryan Reynolds to play Deadpool.
Whoa, he straight up said that.
That's where it came from. Is Deadpool in the
That's as
comics says that.
that's
Um,
as trippy as the Nick Fury story. I wonder if they knew beforehand then
oh, they
because Ryan
did.
Reynolds says he loves that character, and even in that like test footage that leaked last year that got Fox to finally greenlight it, he is on point playing that character. He sounds really good.
No, they
Uh,
they did it intentionally. Like, and then in the Wolverine movie, it was just a totally different character. Like he wasn't
right.
funny, he
Yeah.
wasn't burnt up. He was just my name is Deadpool for some reason.
Yeah, the way they're doing it now, at least going by that test footage, it seems like that. I mean, the script is written by the guys who wrote Zombieland, or based on a script that they did, and that actually leaked at one point. And even when that was going around, that was when people were saying this is a Deadpool film, they should make this. So now they're finally doing it, and Reynolds is still playing Deadpool. Sounds good. They have the love interest from Firefly is playing Copycat.
The love
Uh,
interest from Firefly.
Marina Baccarin, she was the wife in Homeland. She was the love interest.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, her. So she's in it playing Copycat.
Homeland. Jeez, I forgot that existed.
I saw, man, that first season of Homeland, first season was dope.
Oh, it was really good, and then it
It's
got
good.
so bad.
Yeah,
It
that's what I heard. It took a nosedive. I almost bought season two, but apparently it just everybody was just hating on it after that. So
well the end of there was a clear shark jump. There was a really amazing interrogation scene between Brody, like the two main characters, Claire Danes, and I don't remember the actor's name.
yeah,
Um, the
Damien something.
Ginger, whatever his name is.
Mhm.
But and then after that, it just slowly got stupid, and one of those
Yeah.
things where things happened out of sheer convenience. And then I heard that the third season and the fourth season were like abysmal, and apparently it's starting to come back. I don't know.
Hmm.
I didn't even watch after the second season. It was
You
just
know,
like,
I love
eh.
24, but I honestly, I couldn't even tell you. Like, honestly, 24 probably jumped the shark in like its second episode.
No, jeez.
You know what I mean? Like so it's like that's the thing. Like any type of show that uses that premise of like anti-terrorist stuff is bound to jump the shark because the truth is so much of that stuff is purely based on paranoia. Like that's where it's gonna go. There's no real other if you kept it logical, it'd have to be mundane. Like it'd be a boring show to watch. So it's gonna have to get to like jumping to conclusions and basically turning your staff writers into conspiracy theorists, or else it's not gonna be worth watching. But there's a way to do that in a way that's compelling, which is why 24 managed to stay on the air for 10 years, even though I gotta tell you, past season six, I don't know how they managed to pull that off. And then even bring it back years later. Like so, there's obviously a way to do that and stay entertaining and stay on the air. And I guess Homeland is technically doing it if they're four seasons deep.
I don't know.
So
Who knows?
yeah.
Claire Danes was so good in that. She's an amazing
She's
actress.
excellent. Yeah, she's excellent in that. I that was what really contributed to the whole show was her portrayal. She was super good.
Oh yes, she was amazing. The only thing I'd
Yeah.
seen her in before that, did you ever see that like really weird late '90s Leonardo DiCaprio movie called Romeo plus Juliet?
No, I haven't seen that.
It's like a modern day take. It's literally like all the dialogue is from Romeo and Juliet, the play. Like they didn't change it, but like it's like in a modern day setting. It's really strange. And she was Juliet in that movie, and that and Terminator 3 were the only things I'd ever seen her in before
Wow.
Homeland.
She's Ren or Sen. Someone in the chat will tell me that character's name in Princess Mononoke. She's the actual the princess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, so I'd
Misa-
seen her in that. I mean, well, I heard her in that technically. Before Miyazaki was an angry old man.
before Miyazaki made Dark Souls. It's a different Miyazaki. That
How
was the joke.
awesome would it be though if those guys, if he shared those credits? That would be amazing.
He just goes and makes Dark
Yeah.
Souls after making
Yeah,
movies forever.
I'm done making these like chintzy happy family movies. I want to make something that's hardcore.
Hidetaka Miyazaki is like a super genius. I can't wait for Bloodborne on fucking Tuesday. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah, no, oh man, that's that like teen girl hype.
Yep, I'm so excited. I haven't been this excited in forever. It's actually probably my most anticipated game this year. Provided
I'm, huh?
provided Persona 5 still comes out this year. I'm sure it will though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, honestly, I mean, at this point, I mean, PS4 has like no games, or at least it has no games that aren't like cross ports. Like we got Bloodborne, which then we got Persona 5, which is also on PS3. Uncharted 4 is delayed. Sony's big holiday game is going to be God of War 3 remastered. What do you think? Should I troll harder?
Yeah, I could tell. You can lay it on thick sometimes, but I agree. What was I going to say?
Yeah.
42 Gamer says that my English teacher said that Romeo plus Juliet is the most faithful adaptation of Romeo and Juliet to come out of Hollywood. It actually, like I said, it's pretty close.
Isn't that probably a super low bar though?
It's yeah, exactly. I think that's part of it. Oh, here's
Man.
Barry again after he betrayed us. Barry, you son of a bitch.
Jill,
Mhm.
you're alive. I was worried because I thought you were.
Look at that walk. Claire means business.
She just CQC'd him.
Calm down. I didn't want to do it. Believe
So
me, I
you
can
see,
explain.
in Kojima's honor.
There's Lisa Trevor. This is the end of Lisa Trevor's story. I haven't even like been reading the notes on her.
You know, this really is a fantastic remake, but I just cannot believe they took Shinji Mikami's name off the box. I mean, that is just incredibly. It disrespects an entire legacy. The man did so much for this series. He is the genesis of Resident Evil, and there would be none without him. Even the games that he didn't work on
Hand me my gun.
would not be without him. They all require his passion and his heart, and his name should be on that box. And by erasing his name, they have undone all of his work.
He's talking
Also,
about he's
I don't care if there's a credit sequence. It doesn't matter.
actually the funny thing is Ron was making fun of people complaining about Kojima's name being taken off the front of Metal Gear 5. By the way, everyone, that's what he was doing. But what was I gonna say? There's actually this message. Oh God, Lisa almost got me. There's this message in this game. If you beat it on invisible enemy mode, which is as ridiculous as it sounds, it's hard mode but with invisible enemies. And if you beat it, there's actually like a handwritten letter from Shinji Mikami saying like, "Yeah, you're really good at Resident Evil." And if you beat it, and they kept it in the game, and I remember some sites were running a story on it, like, "Oh, did Mikami come back just to write this?" It's like, no, that was in the GameCube version too, everyone.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
And then Lisa Trevor just found her mom's skull and then jumped into a gorge.
Oh god.
We're getting close to the end of the game, though. So I gave Barry back his gun,
I don't believe that.
because Barry is a video game dad.
Yeah, yeah.
Leave this place.
Only Dad should handle all the firearms.
Okay.
Yeah.
This was a pretty nuts week for gaming, though. Like Type Zero
Yeah, man, it
came
was.
out.
The Type Zero came released with the demo of Final Fantasy 15. Nintendo goes mobile, and Kojima gets the axe, kind of.
So does he keep Kojima Productions? Like, is that still his? Like,
No, Kojima Productions was always a subsidiary of Konami.
so,
I wouldn't be surprised
oh
if he
fuck.
has shares, if he has a share of that studio with his own money. But the thing about him that people like rarely realize was that he wasn't just the head of that studio. He's an executive at
For
Konami,
Konami.
like very high ranking, like to the point he probably got to decide his own budgets and things of that nature. And so starting April 1st, when the new fiscal year starts, he won't be an executive there anymore. So he can't take the company with him, certainly not, because they must own the majority of it. But I wouldn't bet on it, but I also wouldn't be surprised to learn that he owned, like, I don't know, something like 25% of it or something like that.
Yeah, he got. I'm so sad that I'm actually appearing on a friend of mine's podcast, Silent Hill Historical Society's podcast, talking about this on Sunday, and like I'm pretty sad that it's Silent Hills is probably like just done.
Yeah, somebody said Del Toro has like extremely bad luck with like trying to get a game made and it not working out.
Yeah, because he was supposed to make a game called Asylum or Insane or something like that.
Insane with the Volition guys, yeah.
Yeah, which that's the Saints Row people, right?
Yeah, it was.
That's so like random.
They had a new team for that,
Hold
which
on
was the
here.
weird thing. Like they had a new team with a new office and stuff in Chicago.
Shit, I'm. Oh, never mind. There it is. Um, what was I gonna say? Yeah, but
Yeah.
that whole you know the whole term artier. I like obviously I'm not someone that worships Kojima, and I don't even think saying someone's an artier is necessarily an endearing thing, but like he would very much he would if there is a video game artier, he is one.
Yeah.
um, and you could tell PT was just like his baby. Just like it reminds me, like it so feels like a
Yeah.
Kojima thing.
It was a Kojima thing, yeah. It was totally weird and perplexing and random in all those ways that speak to him. From the way it was revealed to the Kojima thing, and that to me that ties back to my like. I don't really have a lot of hype for Metal Gear Solid 5. I think it looks cool. I enjoyed Big Boss's story as a character. I think the game looks beautiful. I like the art. I like the goofiness of the characters. Obviously, some of the tone stuff with Ground Zeroes has been turning me off, and I've been vocal about that. I will probably play The Phantom Pain, but it's not something I really consider myself hyped for after playing Ground Zeroes. I don't know that they can justify the open world stuff well. Telling me that it's stealth in the sandbox, that's not an argument, internet. I know you think it is one, but it's actually not an argument. So I don't know how they can really justify that stuff. But the thing that this has all been a stark reminder for me this week is that like Kojima has been saying for like 10 years, because Metal Gear Solid 3 is like, isn't that a 2004 release? That's more than a decade old. So he's been saying for a decade like I want this to be my last Metal Gear. I want to do other
He's been
things.
saying it since the second one, actually.
Since this, okay, so since the second game, so for like what, maybe that's like 15 years. That's a long time. So when you really think about that, the fact that he's basically said this for 4 games now: Metal Gear Solid 2, 3, 4, and now 5. Because he said this before, like shortly before this news broke, was that this was going to be his last Metal Gear. He said it once again, and the internet did what we're primed to do now, which is laugh and scoff, because Kojima, no, you will never leave. When you really think about it, it was probably always going to end this way, because he's always wanted to leave this series behind and do something else that's different. And he's experimented with things before. He did PT. He did the Metal Gear Acid game, which is kind of interesting, but didn't really work out. Like he's been trying to do interesting things on his own, like the Boktai game on the GBA, which was another cool idea that I thought was awesome, and sort of try to hand off Metal Gear to the juniors. Like they tried to do portable ops, people didn't like that. They did Acid, that was kind of weird. They tried to make Rising, and the team just straight up could not make Rising.
Yep.
So for years he's been trying to do other things and get the juniors to take over for Metal Gear, while Konami's been sort of reining him in. It was always going to end this way. He was always going to have to get out in a way that would be less than comfortable for the audience, because Konami doesn't really have any other IPs to hold on to, and especially not now. You can't leave us now that we've ruined Castlevania. We've ruined Castlevania. Contra's a joke. We regularly piss on the grave of Silent Hill. We were going to let you make that, but now that you're leaving us, that's just straight up not going to happen, because there's no way that they would be able to meet those expectations with junior developers. Del Toro doesn't know how to make a game. So I mean,
He's not a developer.
he's not a developer. So it was like, when you really think about just those two elements of like Kojima repeatedly saying, I want to leave Metal Gear, and then them doing experimental things with Metal Gear that don't really work out, and the fact that Konami clearly will not let him go. It was always going to end this way. It was never going to be a clean break. It was never going to be just a straight retirement for him. the industry has like the Japanese industry in particular has an issue with this too, where like all of our luminaries are like they're getting up there, like they're in their rocking chairs. Like Kami is not quite that old yet, but he's getting there. Kojima's straight up old. Miyamoto's